How's it going, folks? This is Game with the Host, and we're going to be playing some Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil.
I hope you're doing good today. I'm doing good. The reason why I wanted to start a standard gameplay today, I was thinking about hardcore professional, but the reason why I wanted to start a standard gameplay is I just wanted to do pretty much a let's play of my favorite game. I've always played this game since I can't even recall now, since 2006 with my friend Richie. We used to play this game a lot. He showed me this game, actually. I didn't know about this game. See, I was into Guitar Hero. He showed me this game, and I'm forever grateful. So let's do it.
Y que aquí te ofrecemos, Señor, que la luz de tu gloria la ilumine hacia el paraíso. Acepta este cordero arrastrado por la furia y el pecado, y acógelo en el paraíso y en tu seno inmaculado. Oh Señor, misericordioso, nuestra vida es aplicable.
September 30th, 1998. It's a day I'll never forget. The cop inside me died that day. And that night, Raccoon City was wiped out, thanks to the bioweapons created by Umbrella. Somehow I made it out, but too many others weren't so lucky. I was asked later to join a top-secret government program. Not that I had a choice. The training, punishing missions, nearly killed me. But at least I kept my mind off everything. If I could just forget what happened that night, the pain, even for a second. This time, it can be different. It has to.
So tell me, Yankee, why did you come to this horrible place? As close to nowhere that I've ever seen.
Let's just say, looking for someone.
That someone must be very important, huh? The chief gave the orders himself. Help him, he said.
I'm sure your boys didn't come all the way out here to roast marshmallows. Maybe you did.
You have a strange sense of humor. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Just between us. A lot of people have gone missing around here. And it's been that way for a while now.
Well then, should be just another day in the office, right?
I mean, last week there was a search for some missing hikers.
I'm sure you'll do your best to help me.
I think this is it. Nature calls, huh? I'll be right back. Qué frío.
Be careful, Pop. Don't fall in.
You smoke? Vaya sitio más tétrico. ¡Eh! ¿Hay alguien ahí?
He sure is taking his time. Did he fall in? Maybe you better go and take a look. Oh, watch the car. Wouldn't want to get a parking ticket.
So much for helping me.
I don't think that cop realized he was in a cop car. Yeah, so pretty much these are my settings. I got a AMD Ryzen, 16 gigs of RAM. Got the Titan XP. Got the 12 gigabytes of VRAM. The newest driver version. My screen resolution is on 4K, pretty much. It's all running on a 60 hertz monitor. I'm doing DSR, dynamic super resolution. VSync on. 4K visuals. So the game is running like a pre-baked version of ray tracing, because when I go to screen space reflections, it doesn't let me turn it on because it says ray tracing is turned on. So you can't turn SSR when ray tracing is on. So the ray tracing is on high for my specific reason. But because this is a Titan card that came out in 2017 and it possesses AI cores, it's using some sort of dynamic super resolution DLSS packed in with the FSR that I'm using, FSR2. This is the Titan XP from 2017, the 450 variant. And it's, like I said, it's running ray tracing with ray tracing on high, and it's not giving that SSR distortion that it usually would do if you would have SSR on. It would give you that distortion. It's not doing that. It's doing like a fixed rasterization, global illumination, and fixing pretty much the bake scenes of where the pre-bake scenes of where it's gonna render. And my shadow quality, I usually leave it on high or maybe low now, because it just takes up too much gigabytes. So best to leave the shadow quality on mid. It's really no difference. This is all my settings. Like I said, max puts it at 2 gigabytes over the limit. We don't want that, because it starts to use RAM and it starts to get slower. But yeah, everything is cranked to the max pretty much, except the shadow quality, the hair strands, and pretty much the ray tracing. Like I said, it's using like a pre-baked version of ray tracing. It's using the FSR2 Ultra Performance, doing pretty good on 4K. Like I said, it's playing on 4K, so that's a cool thing. If you would have told me like 5 years ago I'd be playing 4K games, like I wouldn't believe that. At the corner here you can see my settings. Can't really see them so much, but it's doing pretty good. I've done a major overclock on the memory, which is about 1,000 megahertz, and that's pretty common. I turned up the power limit to 120%. So when I crank up the memory clock to over 1,000 on the overclock and about 60 on the core clock, it's doing pretty good. Using about 320 watts and below. It's not that bad. But like I said, we're playing on 4K, so we would expect to be using a lot more power. Like I said, it ranges from 255 to 320, maybe a little bit lower sometimes. Like I said, it spikes. It usually rides around 280, 260. But this is my system, NVIDIA Titan XP, the world's fastest GPU from 2017. Thanks to Jensen Huang. And yeah, so yeah, pretty much, like I said, it's gonna be a little let's play. I'm gonna try not to say too much because this is a pretty serious game, you know. I don't want to make it sound like I'm riffing on the game or making fun of it in any way because, I mean, they spent a lot of work and time into this game. I mean, the visuals are just wonderful. Um, you see my iPhone here, it's iPhone 15 Pro, so it's doing its justice on capturing the visuals right now, and it's doing a tremendous, wonderful job because obviously it has an OLED screen, very HDR, XDR screen. So it's doing the justice on how it captured the image when I recorded the gameplay when I was playing on my computer just earlier. So you know what I'm saying. But this is my voiceover of my gameplay that I just did earlier. And like I said, I'm going to do Let's Play from Chapter 1 all the way to the last Chapter 16. And I hope you guys enjoy. Like I said, this is my favorite game. And you'll see why. I mean, it's a really... The more you play the game, the more you get into it and the more you feel comfortable with the game. And this game has always had that part of my heart that kind of just helps me make me feel comfortable, you know, when anything else just fails. I just play some Resident Evil 4 and it makes me feel comfortable, knowing that I have to save Ashley and knowing that you know, she can't get hurt, and I have to just save somebody, and it's not just about me, it's about someone else. So that's why I like to play this game.
Anyone home?
It gives me a sense of comfortableness, and I assume that other people feel that way because when I look at the achievements, there's a lot of different achievements that people haven't gotten, and every time I get an achievement in this game, whether I'm working for it, whether I'm just playing the game, it makes me feel like I have some power over my life, that not everything is about control, and you know, not everything is just about me or controlling anything. Sometimes we have to just let things be, and I feel like the way and the direction that this game went in a very wonderful direction, just in, you know, visual fidelity and
Sorry to barge in like this.
you know, the amount of dedication that went into the game. It makes me feel like somewhere in me I can be complete just by playing a video game. And that's why I always find myself booting up my computer and spending some time in a world that doesn't exist, that only exists in people's heads. And obviously people who can afford the video game. And every time I play Resident Evil 4, it just puts me in a different scenario where it's not just about me. And I feel like that's what really draws me into the video game.
This is not good.
It gives me a sense of comfortableness where I guess you're allowed to, you know, follow directions and, you know, relax. Like I said, I hope the visual fidelity is captured very well on your end, because on my end it's doing its justice. I mean, it looks pretty good. The quality is very stunning. Although my iPhone is capturing this quality, it can very unforgivingly, it cannot play this quality because I played this game on my iPhone and it looks terrible. And it's okay, an iPhone is really not meant to be gamed on. That's why we have computers. That's why we have laptops, handhelds, consoles. You're not really meant to play AAA titles on your phone. Obviously, if you want it to, live. I'm trying to get this rat here. I'm trying to get this rat. Nope. Believe it or not, you get challenges in this game where you gotta put some rats down because they're killer rats. I don't know if you looked on YouTube where the baby got killed by the parents not looking over the rats, and baby got killed by rats. So I was trying to get the rats there, make some justice. But yeah, this game, man, it's a wonderful game.
Hey.
Beautiful game.
I read you. What's your situation? What the hell's going on?
So yeah, I mean, pretty much, what I feel like the goal of this game was to recapture, a lost sunken city that was forgotten for some point. I mean, this game was forgotten for a very long time and was revived by a crew that was willing to, put the time and effort into making something so meaningful come back to life the way it did. And I really appreciate what they have done with this game. I assume that, when something brings you back, it's not like an obsession. It's more of like a visual representation of something beautiful that you always get to experience and see. And I feel like this is what NVIDIA and Jensen Huang is trying to bring to the gaming community and to the gaming world and experience, is the power of how people can be introduced into electronics and video gaming, and how people can draw the line where they want to experience something that's
Bruce.
artificial or experience something that's real. It's all at the tip of your hands, and I feel like these video games really put you in a standing ovation where
I'll see what I can find.
it's okay to express yourself within the video game, within the confines of the video game. That it kind of brings out that part of you where survival is key, and what you need to survive and what you need to do to stay alive, and to keep your sanity in the game world and not lose it. Because believe it or not, if you care anything about video games, every move you make, every step you take could be another nail in your coffin. But this video game specifically, it's a survival horror video game. So it just brings out that survival instinct in you of what would you do if you were in this situation. And that's where I feel like the remake really captures that part of sensation, to want to complete a mission, to want to explain a story that was explained a long time ago perfectly. Okay, there was no flaw with the story that was back then. It's still the same thing. But at this point, as I don't know if you noticed, but they did add the footage from Resident Evil 6 instead of the footage from the horrendous incident of what Leon encountered in Resident Evil 2. They incorporated the footage from Resident Evil 6 where he was tasked in Resident Evil 4 to go save Ashley, and that's where that kind of plot twist kind of weighs down on everything, because I didn't even realize that until like the other time where I was like looking over, like that's the same cutscene that was played in Resident Evil 6. I remember playing this, and come to think of it, it was sort of using the same engine, the same game engine. Like we didn't realize that in Resident Evil 6 time we were playing on this Unreal engine, or this 3D engine that we're playing on currently now. Correct me if I'm wrong, I forgot the name, but on this Resident Evil engine, right? It's like, they were using it since Resident Evil 6, and Resident Evil 6 plays the same way as this game, where you can pull out your knife, or you can pull out, everything is like a weapon. It's like it seems like Resident Evil 6 is playing the same as Resident Evil 4, and I would assume that somewhere in there, you were supposed to capture that, because if you were an enthusiast of Resident Evil, you would have captured that somewhere in there. But because I somewhere lost my connection with Resident Evil until they started making the remakes, and also because I didn't have the money to buy the remakes because they were a little bit expensive when they first came out, and before I wasn't working with a NVIDIA Titan XP, I had a Geforce GTX 780. So the 780 is just complete raw graphics. It's just a graphics device. There's really no ray tracing support for that, or AI, upscaler for that. I mean, I assume with 3 gigabytes of VRAM, there's just no headroom for anything. This video card is only relevant because it has 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and it has the headroom for overclocking, and you can even turn down the rhetoric and put the graphics down. But like I say, this card is a beast of a card. As you can see, it's running 4K, okay, with FSR2, with 4K cinematics, cranked up basically to all the way high, except with the hair strands that was added, the hair strands and the physics corpse, and the shadows on Max. I intend to get a NVIDIA Titan RTX. The NVIDIA Titan RTX is a 24 gigabyte card with some tensor cores, and it has RTX cores. So with all the upscaling that NVIDIA provides for their drivers support and everything, the RTX Titan would be able to handle all of this at a really good pace, just because of the AI upscaling and the frame generation that it's gonna be able to support because of the tensor cores. So we can just assume that, if I ever get the cash to buy, NVIDIA Titan RTX with 24 gigabytes of VRAM, that I would be set. I wouldn't have to upgrade, just because I know that Capcom and the future of video gaming is always gonna somewhat stay around the same Recourse, which is like the same 3D engine that they're gonna keep using for like the next 10 or 15 years. And what I appreciate about this RE engine is that it's practical. Okay, so it's not gonna be so hardware demanding on your GPU. So that means that if you have a GPU with 24 gigabytes or more of VRAM, these games are gonna run flawlessly at any scale because of FSR, because of DLSS, or because of frame generation that could be added later. But however you put it, the game runs wonderfully. I mean, like I said, if you would have told me, I would have been playing at 4K dynamic super resolution. I was playing at 1360 by 720p. 1360 by 768. I'm sorry, 1360 by 768. That's where I was playing at for a very long time. And I didn't know how 4K looked or 1080p really looked until I really got the NVIDIA Titan Xp, which unlocked the door for me for 4K visuals and 4K cinematics. I mean, it's wonderful, the fact that you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a video card state of the art, that a video card from 2017 is playing game from 2023 just fine, and anything before that and anything in front of it. This video card will support Indiana Jones, the new release. Obviously it's already out. This will support Silent Hill. Obviously it's going to have pre-baked real-time reflections and things like that, but it's going to do whatever it can for reflection and everything that it can support. But either way, like I'm saying, either the difference between real life and the difference between video gaming. And what this video card is doing is it's not giving me like a really amped up version of ray tracing to the max quality. It's just showing me a version of ray tracing that can be appealing to the human eye, that it wouldn't be so demanding where I would be running to the store to buy a new graphics card that supports ray tracing and AI upscaling and frame generation from tensor cores. It's just that wouldn't make me run to the store for a new graphics card. That a graphics card from 2017 or a graphics card from 2019 is just enough for me, to play my games and stuff. Because I mean, if it's all about playing a video game and having fun, then I suppose you don't need to spend thousands of dollars just to do that, or hundreds of dollars just to do that. You can maybe try to go back a generation and maybe see where NVIDIA just mastered everything about graphics, which is pretty much what we're seeing here. My computer is giving me extreme graphics here, at a fraction of a cost that I didn't even pay for a console nor a very expensive graphics card. That's not what happened. I bought this graphics card for $220 on eBay, and it's been doing justice just well, and I feel very proud that I was able to get this graphics card, because ever since it's been allowing me to experience video gaming in a very different fashion, a very beautiful dynamic where everything is visually appealing and everything looks wonderful. The explosions are big, the visual fidelity is extraordinary. every little bit of art and detail is shown. I used to like playing Assassin's Creed. I really want to get that game series, Assassin's Creed, because what I really liked about Assassin's Creed was the places you got to visit. You know, distant islands and stuff like that. Like Assassin's Creed was a really nice game, and I really hope to get it again. Just because of the physics in that game, it was just so beautiful playing that game. And the way I associate it is because this game kind of makes me think of that game because of the fidelity of it and the visual graphics and, like, you know, just the comfortableness of where you are and, you know, what you have to do to stay alive, you know. And, you know, obviously for Assassin's Creed is the incognito stuff, but even this game, you know, they incorporated stealth, and it seems like a very, you know, nice thing to do. Seems like a very, you know, fun game because now they're being more practical and realistic, where, you know, Leon is not just running around shooting people or shooting, you know, this guy. Leon is running around and, you know, tactically, doing things that, they taught him at, you know, his academy or wherever he went to train and stuff like that. So, you know, the more superior Leon looks, the more you can trust that, you know, anyone who would play this game would fall in love with it as soon as they would boot it up, just because of the backstory behind it and, you know, where it is now and how it's evolved. It's just, you know, they've really taken their time to remake this game into the wonderful thing that it is now, and I'm really appreciative about it. I just wanted to let you know that, and, you know, and I hope you take what I say into consideration, that, you know, you maybe try and play this game for yourself. And, you know, like I'm saying, it won't bog you down to use those ray tracing settings. If you have a ray tracing capability graphics card, that all you would have to do is just turn on the FSR, and it would allow you to have ray tracing just at a lower cost. So, I mean, you know, just take what I say into consideration, and maybe you want to play this game for yourself, because I already beat it on assisted and I beat it on standard, but I'm still trying to keep playing in standard just to get more used to it, just because I'm not used to it. As you can see, there's going to be a ray tracing scene right now that's going to be pre-baked. But as you can see, the Titan is going to handle it just fine. Look, there it is right there. It's a nice little scene. Leon. So I got the gold edition. They gave me some costumes and the original soundtrack and stuff like that. I really like this game, and I hope you really like it too. I hope you watch my Let's Plays, and I hope you hear what I got to say about the game, and I hope you take what I say into consideration. I hope you like what my thoughts are about the game. I think the game is wonderful. It's tremendous, and I think it's stupendous the way it currently is. And I am forever grateful that Capcom continues their legacy, that every little bit of energy went into trying to make this game the best that it could be for its current state. And they really did it. They nailed it on the head. I'm having fun every time I'm booting up the game, every time I'm playing. I'm having fun just, you know, doing the voiceover right now over my own gameplay. It just, you know, it feels like no matter how you experience the game, you're gonna have a good time, even just watching the video game. And that's what I intend to do with my Let's Plays. It's explain a little bit of a backstory of why I play this video game. Not just because of the violent aspect of holding guns or shooting weapons. It's more of the mission aspect of it. That even in the first original Resident Evil, the task, if you let Ashley die, it ends the whole game. So it's game over if Ashley dies, it's game over if you die. So the whole point was to stay alive. And that's what really resonated with me the most, because there's a lot of people out there in the world that, they go to war, they have to stay alive, stuff like that. It resonates with a lot of people who are lone wolves, because that's what Leon went into. He went into a unknown part of Europe and saved the United States president's daughter, Ashley Graham. And I mean, it's a pretty crazy story, man, but it happened in the Resident Evil universe world. And it's a very unique story. Like I said, it really resonates with that side of you that's about protection, and that side of you that is willing to serve and protect, even if it's in a video game, even if it means that, you're gonna lose some time away from your hobbies, even though it's gonna be about your survival and about the survival of someone important. That it's not just, the survival about you. Oh, and I always forget about this guy here in this closet, so I remember to blow his brain out. But yes, this game is one in a wonderful game. Like I said, I paid $20 for this game, or $18.99, I think, somewhere around there. And I try not to pay MSRP for video games anymore, just because I can't afford it. And I just feel like for the amount of time that I'm gonna play this games, that the only thing I can bear myself to give is, just a bare minimum for the game. So I pretty much take advantage of the video game sales when they come around, because you don't know when it's gonna be on sale again. And MSRP is $60. So I'd rather buy a game for $20 and then not have to pay $60. So, it's a fun game. I really enjoy, doing all the little tasks in this game. I guess maybe when I started, I was kind of annoyed that I was finding all these little blue notes everywhere. And I was like, why do I gotta keep doing these tasks? And I was like, oh, for the spinals. Because I assumed that the developers didn't want you to keep shooting stuff or keep wasting your bullets shooting spinals and stuff like that, I guess. Or playing playing target practice and wasting your bullets. So I guess they just made them in a form where, you do tasks for the merchant, and then the merchant pays you out the spinals because he picked them all up, I guess, or he shot them all down because he's the one with all the freaking ammo. Because that guy has like a bunch of stuff everywhere. And what I really like about the game too is the destructible environments. So you could like destroy like little boxes and like all this little stuff on the floor, like little jars, little pile of books, or like little freaking like you could shoot buckets around and they're just like keep flopping everywhere. I think it's a little nice detail that they added to the game, and it really completes the game as like you really being in a 3D world where you're not bounded by any limitations. Anything can happen. Like you can destroy anything, you can die from anything, or stuff like could go down, and you have to find a way to fix it. And it's just like your little makeshift kind of world where if things go wrong, you got to find a way to fix it. And the puzzles in this game really keep you going, really make you feel like if you don't really think this one out, it's gonna keep haunting you if you're gonna keep playing playthroughs of a game, right? So where you don't take time to think and learn about the puzzle of the game is where it starts to get you, because every time you get to that point of the game, you're gonna start to overthink, and you never learned how to figure out the puzzle. So it just becomes a cycle where it becomes a strain to play the game actually. But if you get used to everything and figure out everything and remember and have a good memory and stuff like that, and the game just becomes clockwork. It becomes like a really easy thing to do. And that's what I used to have when I used to play the regular version, where I beat it so much that I got the good score. I got the exclusive gun that you get from defeating the mercenaries on 5 stars, all the mercenaries, and that's from points. You get over 80,000 points on every one, and that's a 5-star rating. So you get the unlimited magnum or something like that. All of those things were like hidden little things within the game. And I really appreciate, all of the things that they've done to make this game really good. I have fun, playing it, and I'm grateful that, my technology is able to play such, demanding, titles, AAA titles like this. I'd say this is like the newest game I have would be this one. So I really love this game. I'm glad and grateful that I have it. I'm gonna keep playing it, and like I said, I'm gonna try to save for the NVIDIA Titan RTX. And after that, I don't think I'm gonna upgrade for a very long time. I'm gonna keep the NVIDIA Titan Xp for a backup, and I don't think I'm gonna trade or get a GPU anytime soon. Just because I know that with the NVIDIA Titan RTX is gonna be the sweet spot for me, where I don't need to get a new GPU. Or if anything should happen, I'll probably get one of the 5000 series RTX cards, maybe like a 5070 or maybe like a 5080. But I definitely want 24 gigabytes of VRAM, so it's gonna have to be the Titan RTX, which is pretty much the same price right now. It's like about $700 to $800. I'm still thinking on that one. Also, like I said, I'm pretty content with my with my Titan XP. It's doing pretty good. It's a really nice, hardware piece. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this gameplay, and this is me reading the stuff. You get 3 spinels for shooting down the blue medallions and stuff. So yeah, I hope you like, this little commentary thing that I made, and I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm not gonna keep doing it too much. There's really not too much to say about this game. It's just, the game is wonderful. I don't feel like it's flawed in any way too much like that, to the point where you would realize it's flawed. It's not flawed in any way. It's just when you go up in difficulty, you would expect it to become unrealistic just because of the difficulty and the hardship that comes from it, and the preciseness, and all the it's just, higher difficulty means perfectionist. And if that's what you are, if that's what we all are, I suppose, it's going to be a challenge. So the game is what it is. You don't have to play it in the highest difficulty. You could play it in assisted for as ever you want. And, a bunch of items, you'll pick up a bunch of items. Or, if one day you get tired of, being so resource rich, you're like, man, I want a challenge. And, you just throw it on professional. I beat this game in professional and the regular one, man, but that doesn't do justice to how hard it is now. Now it's very difficult than it was before. So this game is no joke. It's an experience. Like Dark Souls, like Elden Ring, it's an experience. And also, it does have a lot of reference to a lot of Dark Souls and Elden Ring, to a lot of Bandai video games like Code Vein, vampire-ish type stuff like that, Gothic. It has a lot of like hints towards that. And it's kind of funny because, I played Code Vein recently, and that game is pretty strange to me. And it's probably because I don't understand it, because I never really saw I never really saw or experienced a comic from Japan that was about vampires. You see, the only thing I really know close to vampires is the Vampire Diaries, and that was recorded in Georgia, in United States. So I mean, it's something way different to see American vampire stories like Buffy and the Vampire Diaries, as opposed to something from Japan, or something from something from China. So it's like, I maybe don't know the lore because it just doesn't make sense with me. I couldn't make sense of the story, even though I read the lore from a YouTube video. I couldn't make sense of Code Vein, but in some aspects, it does link it back to Resident Evil 4 and Capcom, because they kind of put a lot of references of that game in here. And I just think it's a cool aspect because of how difficult those games are. And there's really no difficulty scale for Dark Souls. It's just all about repetition and muscle memory. So I guess for me, the reference towards Dark Souls is kind of cool, because I really played the heck out of Dark Souls 2, the Scholar of the First Sin. And man, that game was difficult for me. But I'm glad I passed it. I passed the whole game and it was relatively easy, I guess you would say, but I did struggle because I took roads that, that I was supposed to keep training at, and I was just impatient. But I do take credit that I did pass that game, and I gave it my all, my shot, all my best, and I really enjoyed playing those games. I try to strain a little bit from them just because of how much hardship that I endured while trying to pass those video games. So when I'm feeling in the mood, I'll play it. But lately, I've been feeling in the mood of Capcom and, the wonderful visual graphics that, that I'm given here with, my setup. And I'm just really grateful, man, that, I'm playing in 4K, essentially at 120 FPS pretty much. Because I don't know if you can see in the corner, the card is not maxing out really. Maybe in the ray tracing scenes it might max out, but I don't think so because of the FSR2. So I mean, the game is doing pretty good with the upscaling methods. I really enjoy myself. I hope you enjoy watching, the video here, and hearing me explain myself, and what draws me into the game world of Resident Evil, and why would I rather be doing this than hanging out with friends, or I rather play my video game than go do a bunch of activities that are gonna cost money, or just become a hassle to do. And essentially starting up the computer and starting up the generator, because I live in my van, is something really easy that I can go through and spend very little amount of money, and still have a good time without spending large amount of money. So I guess I'm just pretty grateful that they give you so much to do in this game that you're just constantly busy on the video game. You're busy. It's a really beautiful chore aspect, just like Dying Light, where you go around collecting stuff, and stuff has to fit, and it's just, everything is an adventure. And I believe that's what life is. Life is an adventure. You should experience things you love. You should have the things you want. And I just feel like the day we can't get those things, we just rather be dead. I mean, what's the point of not being able to have the things you truly want? If you don't have the things you truly want, what's the point? What really keeps us is the fact that we get to experience anything and everything we want, because human desires things. We have this burning desire to desire a lot of things, and if we don't get those things, well, we seem to give up. We seem to not care. We seem to make excuses. We seem to take on addictions that we don't need. We seem to take on expenses that leave us dead in the street. We seem to take on hobbies that we can't handle. We seem to take on, responsibilities that we just can't have. And being in the video game world just takes that responsibility out, where I'm responsible for this right now, for what I'm playing. I'm responsible for this. This is what I'm experiencing. Anything else is on hold. That my job right now is to save Ashley. That's my job right now. Is to save the president's daughter. That anything and everything else outside of the world does not affect me right now, because my task is to save Ashley.
They keep coming. This the place? What's that noise?
That hurts, you know?
Seemed like you really wanted to talk.
How observant, senor. Now, say, you got a smoke?
You know, those things will kill you.
Oh, well, maybe just untie me then, huh? Joder, not this guy!
Who are you? Okay, stop right there!